That's located next to that collapsed parking garage. For the rest of the spring semester, the fear is that a shared wall could collapse. That wall between 57 Ann Street and the Pace University building, which is at 161 William Street, must be shored up, and that is a slow process. Last Tuesday's collapse killed the garage manager and injured a number of other people.
Well, the New York City Council met today to discuss ways to keep cyclists safer, from expanding bike lanes to creating a real-time map of current bikeway conditions. Many ideas were put on the table, but one bill discussed did not go over very well with the NYPD. Eyewitnesses reporter Morgan Norwood live in Lower Manhattan with more. Morgan.
And David, it was the NYPD, not even civilian drivers, that were in the hot seat, especially when it comes to driver safety. The City Council today placing the blame kind of solely on them when it comes to certain issues here. But look, it's no secret that biking here in the city is at an all-time high, but also climbing the number of accidents and deaths on city streets. At least 10 cyclists have been killed just this year. And look, I just covered one 2 weeks ago. Today, the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure discussed new legislation that would eliminate red tape when it comes to expanding bike lanes. They also heard more on a bill that would create a real-time map on current bikeway conditions. They also heard another measure that would create a task force to lay out how to build public e-bike charging stations. The big focus there is to get those batteries out of people's homes. Another measure would essentially deputize citizens to help crack down on traffic violations that make it unsafe for cyclists. Now listen to this. Councilman Lincoln Ressler, who introduced this bill, says that police are the main culprits, and that did not sit well with the NYPD during that meeting. Take a listen.
The idea that there's any enforcement or accountability around this issue at all is a joke.
It's not a joke, and I do take it seriously. And I welcome any time you walk around one of those precincts to send me a picture, and I will deal with it ASAP.
The very worst perpetrators are police officers themselves. You can go to any police precinct in the city, and you will find at least a dozen cars parked illegally on sidewalks, in bike lanes, making it unsafe for our community to get around. These are the same police officers who are responsible for enforcing the law. If they're not going to follow the law themselves, they're not enforcing it against anyone. And that's why we need to empower citizens.
And so there was a pretty big exchange during that meeting earlier today, and NYPD's issue on this particular bill was that this would lead to, their fear rather, was that this would lead to more confrontations between citizens. They're trying to avoid that. But ahead at 5:30, we'll hear what cyclists have to say about all of this. We're also going to deep dive into that measure that would allow more e-bike and charging stations around the city. Live in downtown Manhattan, I'm Morgan Norwood, Channel 7 Eyewitness.